Hey LTCB faithful, this is the Final Boosh.
And this is Madhouse.
And first off, I want to thank everybody for helping us get over 500 subscribers.
I wasn't expecting to get this far this fast, so thank you.
We're highly appreciative of it.
Yeah, we are, really.
But, you know, let's push on. We're here for the Fatal Fury, my brain keeps telling me Mark of the Wolves. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves impressions.
Yeah, like, despite it being called TCB Reviews, it's just a general overview about how we felt about the entire experience.
Right, and, you know, for those who are like, man, this is a lot of, like, coverage for this one game, this is, like, the crescendo, so we won't be posting as much stuff about the game after this one.
No, just little stuff every now and then.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity back bumper. What about now? It's time to rock with the biggity back bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bumper. Bump to the bump to the bump to the bass. Bump to the bump to the bump.
So before we get into the, you know, the mechanics and the net play, was there anything particular about its presentation that kind of jumped out at you?
I enjoyed the aesthetic quite a lot.
Right, like it's just really bold and vibrant, like American comic book art style they're trying to do. What, the coloring at the very least, the art style is still like very like manga-ish, I guess. I don't know. No,
it's like a mixture between Sam Show with the Sam Show, KOF, and Street Fighter 4. That's what it felt like. It felt like all the best stuff they learned from each of those games style, they kind of stuffed it into this game into a comic book package.
I just really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the effects. I think that's my favorite thing about the game is the effects. I really just loved how they went in on this like comic book thing.
Yeah, because like bam, and all that stuff like that.
Like the hit effects are just like these big like fucking like just action sparks, and then like when characters like do EX moves, they got this like pop art after image behind them and stuff like that. It's really it just pops in a cool way. I like it. I like the coloring of the game.
I'm interested to see what the other characters are gonna look like.
So yeah, this is typically the opposite of what like most Japanese fighting games do, and I'm shocked they never went in this direction any other time.
Well, for what it looked like so far from this game is very counterculture, and I know that seems weird to say, but if you look at the direction of everything going up to this point and look at this game, it's like they went out the way to do the opposite that everybody else was doing.
I guess.
To me, that's what it come across like to me.
But yeah,
it's a very unique looking game in my opinion.
But overall, the music's fine. Like I don't think the music, nothing about the music particularly jumped out at me. Like Vox theme is pretty cool, but like nothing really stuck in my head
yet.
And that could just be I'm just not familiar with everything yet. But overall, presentation is clean. I like it.
Definitely. All right, then let's get into the gameplay.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, I had my reprehensions coming in, because of, you know, the way fighting games were today, you know, with the oversimplification, the dumbing down, the removal of mechanics, the over reliance on system mechanics to help build players out instead of making like characters feel strong.
Technically, the removal of actually being a fighting game.
Yeah. So it just becomes hand-holdy bullshit where it's all laboratory-based games where everything is predetermined and things like that, and of course the ever true relying on guessing to lower the skill gap.
Yeah, overbearing system mechanics, blah blah blah. You heard it's the same song and dance.
Right, and we kept saying that Garou was like, well, I'm sorry, Fatal Fury was like the last bastion for us.
If that game failed, that
I was going to give up on modern fighting games. I wasn't even going to look at AAA or like a AAA or AA fighting game. I would just like mainly stay on the indie side. But I mean, I'm happy to report that Fatal Fury has amazing gameplay. It really does.
It didn't fail me. I'm so happy that when this game come out, we'll actually have something to play.
Right.
Something to hitch our wagon to.
Yeah. So you have the rev system, and that's essentially Street Fighter 6's drive system in reverse.
Yeah.
And it caused a little confusion for me at first because you have zero, you know, rev meter. And I kept trying to not use my EX moves since the meter didn't have a number like a 2% or something like that. So my brain kept telling me, oh, I can't use EX moves yet. And I keep forgetting that you can cancel rev moves into rev moves.
Yeah. So I like that because it gives things expression. It's like, even like I think I said this before, but even if you're not optimal, you can still get damage if you play well enough.
Yeah. So it's not nothing like stopping you from just matching with the character.
So like instead of dumbing the game down to support people who don't know how to play,
they opened it up.
The game opened itself up to allow people the chance to experiment who don't know how to play.
So is there going to be optimal routes? Of course, it's a fighting
Every
game.
fighting game is going to be a thing.
What I mean by open, I mean that Madhouse plays Hotaru differently than I play Hotaru.
Yeah.
And that's probably not going to be the case, but I mean, it's open enough where we're not slipping on each other's tools. We're going to have two drastically different characters. I know we're going to be all over the place. This game didn't have a training mode, so we're just kind of scatterbraining.
Well, if you didn't play Rock,
right? If you didn't play Rock, there wasn't a training mode for you. So I'm not like privy to all the mechanics here, right? So they have the Rev Blow,
which is essentially Drive Impact,
but
better.
But it's Drive Impact, but when you get hit, it knocks you away. And the only time you get that like Drive Impact crumple is when you get a counter hit on somebody. And I think that's a lot better. It's a lot less like, oh, I have to rely on this to get a free hit or something like that. And it doesn't control neutral the same way Street Fighter 6 does.
Oh yeah, because when you hit the what's called Rev Blow?
Yeah.
When you hit the Rev Blow, neutrally, it resets neutral, technically. And knock the person away, and you have to kind of like, walk back up on each other. Yeah, I know sometimes it can lead to Uki, but most of the time in the situation, it just leads to a knockaway.
A lot of people say it's really strong right now and it's safe, but I'm gonna save that because we didn't train.
I think it is safe.
We don't know. We didn't lay up the mechanic yet. We don't know if it's safe. It might be safe, conventionally safe.
Okay, but even if it is safe, it's tied to a portion of your health.
And on
it's
top
tied
of that,
to like what, 15%, 20% of your health?
Yeah, it's tied to the SPG gauge.
So it's not the entire match. If you fight somebody who placed it at the beginning of the gauge, then yeah, they can be kind of abrasive in the beginning, but the rest of the match they can't. And the follow throughout. They put it in the middle, you gotta watch out for the middle. If you put it in the end, it can make a comeback mechanic.
Or like a checkmate situation.
Or a checkmate situation. But it's tactics. And plus what I like about it the most, everybody do not use it the same way.
On top of that,
a lot of the time they don't, at least.
They might not know what the SPG gauge is. The SPG gauge is something like the Gyro's top gauge, where the top gauge in Mark of the Wolves gave you access to more powerful supers, and I think your damage increased, and I think you recovered health, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember 100%.
And the SPG gauge, I think, is just damage, and you get access to your Rev Blow. So, yeah, everybody has their own specific Rev Blow. So in that way, it's like a focus attack.
Yeah, because that's what I didn't like. That's what I don't like about Drive Rush. The only reason we said it's a couple of reasons why the Drive Rush work right. Because one, Drive Rush is a crowbar. It's just going to shove itself into the neutral. You got it gassed. There's barely anything you could do about it.
You have to be so
it's in the back of your brain.
Where with Rev Blow, okay, so if there's a situation where somebody has a Rev Blow and I stick out like, let's say like a D, I throw out my D the same time they do their Rev Blow. The Rev Blow will suffer from hit stop, so I can recognize it.
You can course correct it.
I can course correct. So let's say I'm just really mashing. So I hit my D. I notice there's a Rev Blow because as far as I know, they have infinite armor, right? I hit my D.
They can be thrown.
I hit my D at a good distance when they start their Rev Blow. I can see the hit stop from the Rev Blow, and maybe it didn't sink in yet, right? So maybe I smash a light, like a crouching
like
egg.
2 lights.
Yeah, I can recognize it, and as long as they don't hit me, I can throw them out of it.
Or block,
but you have to admit that it's safe after that.
I'm not sure how it react on with supers.
It loses the supers.
Okay.
As far as I know, it loses the supers and EX moves. Well, they call them Rev moves, but it loses the EX moves. And that's about as far as I know from it, but it doesn't feel like I have to step on eggshells.
No, it felt very natural, and I barely fell into them. Yeah, I fell into them the first time when I didn't know what the characters were. Like, it took me forever to recognize that Terry shoulder tackle was that Rev Blow move, and like you got to recognize them.
And like, yeah, as soon as you start recognizing, like, oh, this isn't coming out in like 23 frames that I essentially had to stop my whole neutral game to accommodate for them doing a drive impact. No, it's just, here's my pressure. if I'm sloppy with my pressure and they're mashing or they find a gap in my pressure and they do a rev blow, I can check them. And if I'm not too committed to a move, I can get out of it. Unless I can take the block and it's safe. And then, okay, fine. We'll start from square one again.
And the two things I like most, I keep saying it, is one, everybody use them differently. They all have their different methods of using it. It's not like a drive rush when there's one centralized mechanic that works the exact same way for every single character. No, each character has their own way of going into this mechanic, and they have an air one too.
And once
Which
again,
is also different for every character.
Right.
Some characters got
right.
dive kicks.
Right.
Some characters got air stops. Some characters got like, I don't know. I haven't seen all of them, but I don't even know what Terry's is.
I never used Terry's air. It didn't sink in on me because I'm so used to things like focus attack and drop impact that I forgot they could do them in the air as well.
So it's a very flexible. It's a very flexible, powerful,
but not
yet
centralized,
balanced, and not centralized mechanic.
Also, it being tied to the SPG gauge
also helps.
Also says, okay, it's a strategy, right? So if I'm picking Kine and you're like a rushdown character, because everybody pretty much has a fireball.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking Injustice or some shit. Everybody has a fireball for the most part. I think in this beta, everybody has a fireball of some kind. So let's pretend like they get a character without a fireball. I forget the roster. Let's say it's Gato. Gato, let's say he has a hard time dealing with zoners, right? So if I go against a Kine, I might want to put my SPG gauge at the beginning of the match.
Because if he's an aggressive zoner.
So if he's an aggressive zoner, all I gotta do is walk him down, time my rev blow to his fireball,
depending on how his
and
is.
check him. And if he's a smart like zoner, he's gonna realize this guy put his SPG gauge at the start of the match. I have to be careful,
be a bit more patient, or place my fireballs better.
And once again, once you eliminate that portion of their SPG gauge, that's it. They can't rev blow anymore.
Not to the next match.
So it's out of the equation.
And I think if you do it too much, you overheat.
And if you do it too much, you enter the overheat state. And I think the overheat state is you can't use your rev blow. You can't use your rev moves. I don't know if there's like a damage reduction or anything like that. I'm not entirely sure about all that yet. But I know that it's a way steeper price than what Street Fighter 6 tried to do.
Well, the difference, okay, so if you use EX too much or you use your rev blow too much, you go into overheat.
Right.
So the difference between overheat and burnout is overheat is an actual punishment as they crate away your options. While burnout, it just Street Fighter 6 just becomes a better game.
Right, because you don't have to interact with the drop system.
But to be serious, in burnout, you get an attack power up, which I don't understand why would they buff you.
Yeah, it's your fault you ran out of meter. I don't understand why you would. Anyway, I don't know what they're going for with that, but we don't have to darken our doorway talking about that game, right? So until we play it, right?
Well, we got to compare it.
I know.
We can't exactly compare this to Tekken, and I think MK is different enough from the other two to not have to play ball, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's only direct comparison.
To Street Fighter 6.
We're probably sticking too long on the rev blow, but that's how this kind of game is. This game is really top heavy when it comes to mechanics. I say it's a little busy.
I don't think it is because busy means a bunch of mechanics that don't gel right with each other.
Well, you're getting me mixed up. I'm not saying busy as in convoluted. I'm just saying that the Street Fighter 6 is also very systems dependent, right?
Yeah, but
this game is also very heavily based around its system.
No.
The difference is though, the systems don't carry this game. It's a fighting game first. It's technically Garo. I like to say it's the old Garo is Mark of the Wolves, but turned to a cyborg, right? So it got all these cybernetics in it and stuff like that. Because when you're like overheated, you essentially just become a Garo character.
Yeah.
And the only way to reduce the heat, other than waiting for the overheat mechanic, is to just guard.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you just guard, and it kind of helps reduce your waiting time for overheat.
Well, we talk about the just guard. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So just defense is kind of like parry from third strike.
Right. Mark of the Wolves was essentially just diet third strike, and one of the core mechanics was the just defense. That made the transition here to City of the Wolves.
Yeah, it's really easy. You just press back at the right time. Somebody attack you. It's like a little bit before.
Yeah. And then you get this like little aura around you, and it's it'll tell you did it, right? I mean, I missed the little animation from Mark of the Wolves. That should have came back. Yeah, but overall, that's fine. They also have something called hyper defense, where
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I never used it. You either press back and then forward, or just press forward at a time of an attack impact. I never used it. I don't know what it is. That's something we have to lab.
You don't know what you get out of it?
No, that's something we have to lab when it comes up.
Well, what we do know is you can guard cancel out of just defense, which is absolutely amazing.
I just think the executional requirement to that is really cool.
And I like that because it's an actual reward for game sense and execution.
Well, it doesn't mean that guard canceling is the best move to use all the time.
I know that, but I still like the fact that remember, it's 2025. Games aren't built like this no more.
Right, and that's probably one of my favorite things about City of the Wolves right now. It's very 90s.
Yeah,
it feels like a late 90s fighting game. And I know, like I said, we're going to be all over the place, right? So it feels like a late 90s fighting game. The mechanics here don't hold the player's hand. They're not here to elevate the player. They're here to elevate the characters.
The system mechanics are here to reward your decision making.
Right.
The system mechanics are supposed to be for the character. You get more advantages if you do this particular thing.
It is not
we'll do it for you, but it's not we'll hold your hand. It's not like it's parry, where Street Fighter essentially has a block button now.
Yeah.
And not like perfect parry where it's just mindlessly easy
to be absolutely fair to Street Fighter 6, City of the Wolves does have Rev Guard. And Rev Guard is a block button.
No.
Yes. No. You ever play it? You ever play it and you see that aura come over you?
No, I know that, but you can look at that as like a what they used to call it.
What?
How other games got it, like it's a type of super block.
Oh, like flawless defense?
Yeah, like flawless defense.
It's a push block. But I think it doesn't guard high and low for you. I think it guards left and right.
And that's fine.
So you're susceptible to like empty jumps and empty loads. And
here's my question to you. Do it happen automatically?
No.
Do you have to have game sense to use it?
I suppose.
There you go. That's what I like about this game. It rewards you for your decision making. They went against the curve.
And that's what this game feels like, right? It feels like it's like anti a whole lot of what's going on, and that scares me because I think this is a swan song for this type of game design.
Now, I know that scares you, but what scares me is the fact that since this game adds stuff, and mind you, this is not a complex game. This, like you said, it's very 90s. It's very easy to get into, but it's going to be a lot to master.
Yeah.
That it doesn't mean you need every system mechanic every time, but when it comes at play, it's there for you. But what scares me about this game is the fact that we live in a time where, once we say it again, games are just bending over, taking it, just being as dumb and as simple and overly rewarding and slutty and non-thinking as they possibly can. And I don't give a shit. To me, this don't apply to MK1, but the other two are. So what scares me about this game is that people are so used to they're so complacent with the blandness of Street Fighter 6. They're so complacent with being rewarded off of every menial decision. They're so used to guessing to win that they'll come to this game and say either it's too hard or they're just gonna poke holes in it, as in this game is too complicated, or this game don't reward you for doing this or doing that. When it does, you just gotta try harder.
Well, that's the thing, right? This game isn't accessible. I don't feel as though like I thought the game was going to be more accessible. It's not.
This beta is not accessible.
Now they can have a tutorial, but I mean, from a gameplay standpoint, some of these mechanics are a little esoteric for casuals.
It's like you told me, you hold the rev button, and then you press triangle, and you can do an overhead.
Oh, right, because the game has so many mechanics. I'm just going to list them off, man. Rev blow, the rev mechanic, rev moves, just guard and guard cancels, hyper defense, running. Some characters can run. Some characters only have a dash. Super jumping. What else we got?
Short hopping.
Short hopping.
High lows.
They have a crush system where you hit your rev button and triangle and down. You can crush lows, or everybody has a universal overhead they can do.
Universal overhead. They have a universal overhead and universal anti-air.
Everybody has,
mind you, it's done differently through every character. Everything we saying here, outside of the more defensive stuff, is done differently through every character.
And don't forget supers. Then you got like stronger supers, and then you got hitting supers. Like there's a fuck ton of mechanics in this game.
Just say super. You got the two type. You got light super. You got heavy super. You got ultimate.
And I think there's like a secret gear, right? That's the
ultimate.
There's hitting super moves. I think.
I haven't heard about that.
Something like that. I could be wrong.
Hitting gears is called hitting gear. Hitting gear is your ultimate.
Yeah.
You got your light supers, you got your heavy supers, and you got your ultimates.
So there's just a fuck ton going on. This is the most mechanics I have seen in a modern fighting game since.
But
fighters,
ever
maybe
fighters, maybe yeah.
Guilty Gear X3, and that's where I'll put this game in that bracket. It's in the Guilty Gear X3 level of casualization, where they wanted to still provide you a solid fighting game, but not make everything as weird
cryptic
as it was back in the day. Even though Gyro was never that complicated of a game to begin with. And it's going to scare off a lot of casuals. I'm already prepared for the laundry list of shit talk.
The slurs, the whatever you want to say.
People already say the game feels sluggish. I think the game tries to emulate the feel of Gyro.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like it's Gyro with some extra KOF stuff thrown in there, right? Like with it has a little bit of KOF-isms in there. So it's trying to emulate that feel, and admittedly, it could probably be a little better at it, right?
Once you get past the weirdness of everything, which should take you about 3 or 4 matches.
I don't know. I think there's a case to be had that the game does feel stiff.
Every game feels
sluggish.
Stiff.
I don't know if sluggish is the word, because sluggish, to me, every fighting game feels sluggish till I get used to it. If it's a different enough game, and since this game does feel different than what's currently on the market, it could feel sluggish because you're not used to it.
Everything felt bad at first.
Right.
Like, I was not a fan. I'm still not a fan of Street Fighter 6's movement because it's just so sticky and automated.
Yeah.
But I had to get used to it.
Right. Like
I gotta get used to it again when we play it. But I gotta get, especially after playing this game.
Yeah.
But we gotta get used to it. But right now we should just push on and start talking about the netcode and stuff.
I know, man. I just want to say once again.
Go ahead.
Fucking the gameplay is fantastic. I'm so happy that the game just gives you depth, and like I still think there's a lot here for casuals to like. There's a lot here, but the game asks you to learn it. It's not going to play for you.
Please, instead of shit talking, instead of doing whatever your brain tell you to do, just do the opposite. Either get a friend who has the game, get with a friend who has the game if you don't want to buy it. Either find it on sale if you can, whatever it is going to be in the future. Please, before any people who are used to these modern fighting games play this game, please play it first. And I don't mean give it a few hours. I mean, sit down.
It's one of those things.
Play the game.
It's one of those things where you might not like it the first couple of days.
Because, mind you, it's a very, very, even at this point, at the beta, at its worst, it's a very engaging game.
Yeah.
And it will reward you. Yes, it may not be simply rewarded like Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. Yes, I understand. You may not get freebie rewards like in those games. But if you stick with it, if you find a character that you want to play and you end up enjoying these mechanics, it's a very deep game here.
Yeah.
That's going to get disrespected.
I don't care about that. All it's going to need for me is solid netcode, which we'll get into now. So speaking of the netcode, you got
no. Let me stop you there.
Okay.
I'm not even going to throw all this with this bullshit with everybody bitching about matchmaking, everybody bitching about the rollback, everybody bitching about delay.
No, hold on.
What?
That's a very real concern.
No, I'm aware of that. I'm aware because SNK is SNK. Okay, we don't learn anything SNK. I'm aware of that. SNK thrive on gameplay and not common sense.
They might as well just be fighting game Sega.
So here's what I'm gonna tell everybody who's bitching about the current state of the game right now. It is the first beta of the game.
Okay, and we're having a beta like a month before release.
Which is stupid.
How much can they possibly fix? It's not even it came out in the second to last week of February. How much? Essentially, they got 8 weeks?
8 weeks till the game come out, yeah.
Why wasn't this beta out last year?
And then, God forbid, you have a second one. But here's the thing, though. We don't know what build they're on the game now. So this could have been like a while. This could have been like a more simpler build of the game.
Well, at any rate, the UI is hella laggy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's that's about. It's really bad. It feels terrible to navigate these menus. I know a lot of people have something against the UI design. I think that's fine overall. The little mouse in the menus, some of the menus need to go. But other than that, I think it's fine. I think the UI
it just
UI
needs to be a bit faster. That's all.
It just needs to be more snappier. It's stupid. It's like you're going over too dumb.
It moves too slow.
The game brought back rooms.
Yeah, and it's KOF rooms, so they're good.
Yeah, it's a KOF, so you can play multiple stations in one room. That's good. I hope that stays. I don't know why I'm saying that, but for some reason I think that's not going to be here. But we'll find out. The netcode itself.
Now, I'm new to like playing fighting games. I'm not new to fighting games, but I'm used to playing them offline. Okay. So netcodes. I'm super sensitive to like
jumping and like
visual and delay. I physically I cannot do it. It fucks with my mind too much. It makes me too paranoid. So it's hard to read people if they're skipping around or you can't react in time.
Yeah, with that being said, most of my matches were pretty good. There was a lot of periods like during it where it would seem like it's a fine connection and then it would like just slow down. Like the frame rate will slow down. That happened a couple times. Like I said, like normal connections that seemed like normal, like you get your 40 or 60 MS, and then you start the match, and then halfway through the match, it'll jump to like 900.
But that being said, the actual act of like playing on those matches always sort of felt good.
Now, I think the game's limit, in my opinion, the highest ping I've ever played was about, that still felt workable,
was 190,
about
180.
Yeah, 190. Let's say 170, I guess I could say. MS is probably like, I think that's like 3 bars equivalent. It's about 3 bars. I think 3 bars still feel good. Anything after 3 bars, you start to get into the shantytown territory, and you don't like that. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that McDonald's internet.
Yeah. So,
but all in all, it's still a beta. It's like we don't know.
And that's right. We don't know. We'll just have to wait for the game to come out proper. And with that being said, I think the game should be delayed, honestly.
Yeah, but if they can get the online together,
the gameplay is fine. Don't change the gameplay, right? Just delay it long enough where you can get all the netcode shit squared away, all the features squared away, so you don't have to struggle with this shit when the game comes out, because that's what's gonna make and break this game.
No, what's gonna make to break the game is the fact that the game actual anything.
I don't care what people's opinion about the game is. I care about if I like the game, and it's deep enough to have a community hanging around. As long as the netcode is good, as long as it has the right network features, I'm fine with whoever plays the game. It can have a small community. As long as I can lock in, find some people, play with them, and I don't have to worry about shit like lag and all that stuff, fine. If it's about on par with Street Fighter 6 as far as netcode, it's not. But if it is on par, that'd be nice. So that's why I think the game should be delayed. Just don't change the gameplay. The game doesn't need changing that much. Just worry about getting the features in the netcode down.
All right, I think we should give it a score.
All right, well, if I'm counting everything as a whole, so not just the gameplay alone, but my whole experience with it, and it's been pretty smooth. Other than like the day one matchmaking issues I feel I had, I've been having a consistent time finding matches. Most of the matches I played were pretty solid. And I can't tell if that's the netcode or just somebody playing on Wi-Fi, right?
We did room matches.
Yeah, we did room matches, and I didn't have any issues. So with that being said, I give this entire beta a 4.5.
Matter of fact, I'm going to match you and give it a 4.5.
Okay then. So that means Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves gets a TCB score of a 9. Beta, of course. We'll see if the real game stacks up to this.
But as a beta, I think it was a pretty good outing for the game.
Yeah. It has its issues. It does.
What beta don't.
And I still think it needs to be delayed by a significant amount, at least 2 or 3 months or something like that. We shouldn't see this shit to the fall, honestly. But you know what? I'm happy.
It's a beta, not a demo.
I'm happy with it. It's a good fighting game. It's a deep fighting game, and it's anything what's going on right now. So it gets all my support.
So that's the end of the video. So I guess we should do the basic YouTube shelling.
Might as well.
Yeah, if you like the video or any of our videos, subscribe. Please wait to the end and only give us the subscription if you think we deserve it.
Yeah, if you need any convincing, we have the TCB Best Of folder. I keep saying folder, but playlist. Check that out if you need more, persuasion to subscribe to us. I think our content can stand on its own. We don't need anybody subscribing randomly.
We also have a Let's Play channel called The Best Bros Plays. We need to start updating that.
Yeah, we got busy. The only time we were able to do something is with this Gyro thing.
And on top of that, we got a Discord channel that will be provided in the description if you want to join.
Everything here is in the description.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So with that being said, we'll catch you next time.
See you.